How can you kick someone out of a friend group, limiting how much you're going to hurt them? I know there is no world in which we don't hurt her, but we would still like to limit the damage. For some context, we all met at the beginning of our diploma. Said friend is very talkative and social, so she was very fun at the beginning. She's also very nice. However, it turns out that she is way too talkative. It's hard to explain without looking mean, but she quite literally never stops talking. Did one of my friends write this? She just yaps and never stops yapping.
No, today we yapped so much. Like,
sometimes I look back on my day and I'm like, all you did today was yap. Literally, stop. Do you have some sort of energy reserve that never runs out? Because how the hell did you yap for 17 straight hours?
And we went to diner.
We went to the diner. What did we do at the diner? We yapped.
Period.
We yapped at the salad bar. We yapped at the table. We came home. We did record 2 episodes today. So not only did we yap to each other, we yapped to you guys. Twice.
A lot of ground to cover sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyway, look at us yapping right now.
Yeah.
We can't have group conversations because she will always grab whoever is sitting next to her and talk about something completely unrelated when you were clearly trying to listen. But even when you interact with her, she does not listen to you and she doesn't remember things you told her. She just speaks to speak. I hate people like this.
Me too.
We just had a conversation about people that like interrupt you like every second.
Mm-hmm.
I do that sometimes, and like thinking back on it, it makes me feel like so like embarrassed and guilty and bad and just like rude.
Yeah.
Because I always, not always, but like I notice sometimes when people cut me off like really blatantly and it's just so rude, even when people aren't trying to be rude. And I'm like, I really just hope I never do that, even though I know I do.
We all do.
Yeah.
I try to do it like if sometimes you talk to those people that just, they're never going to stop like talking.
Yeah.
And they'll like make their same point, but just worded differently for like 15 more minutes. And that's when I interrupt because I'm like, you're not going to stop. And
wait, but are they ranting?
No, like.
Okay.
I can't even say who I'm thinking about, but it's like just.
Yeah.
It's not like a super close friend. And every time I'm with them, I'm just like, I either tune out or if I want to be involved in the conversation, I just need to interrupt because there's no other way to go about it.
Yeah. I hate when people interrupt, and especially what this person is saying, like to be like sitting in a circle with people all talking and to grab the person next to you and just like not listen to the speaker and take the person next to you away from that. Like you got to read the room. Like, but people actually do that. Yeah. And it's so annoying and so weird. And like if you're the person being pulled from the conversation, like you feel rude too. And then you're like, wait, who do I appease? My friend who was already speaking for 5 minutes or this person that's now trying to like pull me away? Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's really awkward. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, she just speaks to speak wherever. It's in class, outside. She'll just speak to you. You might think it's not a big deal, but it's exhausting having to listen to someone constantly. And she doesn't get social cues to leave you alone when you don't answer or something. Every time I sit next to her in class, I end up with a huge migraine or just exhausted. And everyone in the group feels like that. The issue is we know she doesn't do it deliberately. And she's literally the nicest and purest person. She's just taking a toll on our mental health at this point, to the point that we're anxious to go to school and never hang out outside of school anymore because we don't want to not include her, but we also don't want to see her. So yeah, we would like to remove her from the friend group, but in the nicest way possible. We have voiced these issues with her multiple times, but unfortunately, that's just who she is, which is a terrible thing to say when letting her down. I don't know. We honestly might seem like huge biatches, but it has to stop. We want to hurt her the least amount possible in doing so. It's really hard because when you told her already, like if you tried to explain to her these things that annoy you and she just doesn't stop, these like rude tendencies, regardless of if she does it deliberately or not, I feel like after you said it to her, that's kind of on her. Yeah. And one of my friends who gives really good advice was telling me, I had a situation like this with someone in my life that I just got to the point where I'm like, yeah, I just like don't desire to be friends with you. Like we just don't vibe like that. And it was the same thing as this person. It's like, they're not a bad person, and what they're doing isn't deliberate. It's just like their personality traits. And I did not say this to them. Like, I didn't say like, you cut me off all the time, or like, I don't like this, because I just felt like in the situation I'm talking about, it wasn't exactly the same. So anyway, I couldn't explain like, oh, I just don't like you, like that kind of way. But anyway, my friend was like, if anyone like this ever asks, instead of saying, here's what I don't like about you, you can say, when you do X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C happens in me. And like, therefore, I don't think that we are compatible as friends. Because then you're not saying like, you don't have a good sense of humor, your jokes annoy me, you cut me off and I don't like it, like that kind of thing, you talk too much. While you could say that I think could come off as mean, because that's who the person truly is.
Mm-hmm.
And none of those qualities are inherently bad things. They're just things that are incompatible with you.
Yeah.
An example would be like, when you talk to me for like an hour in class, or when you pull me from a conversation that I'm trying to listen to, it makes me feel weird, and I don't really like that feeling, and I don't think that we are compatible as friends because of that. And like, it can be that simple.
I actually was going to say that I give these people props for saying something to this girl to begin with, because if you didn't care, you just wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
And just do like the slow fade, which isn't always the nicer thing to do.
Yeah.
So they cared enough to bring it up to her, which was nice. And
especially because it's things that she could change.
Yeah.
Like, I guess my point just now, I feel like I said it in a confusing way, but it's like, these annoying things that she does isn't who she is. It almost seems like a bad habit. So it's not like you're critiquing her for who she truly is. It's almost just like this bad habit she has. Do you know what I mean?
Some people are like that though. Like, I have like, again, like not super close friends, but like people in my life who for sure, like they just, I don't think they're ever gonna not be like kind of like this girl.
Okay, maybe.
Like, I don't think, because again, it's not like they're doing it maliciously. It's just that like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They are like that.
I do see what you mean, actually. I guess I'm not describing it in a good way. Like, okay, like sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
No one's sense of humor is good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just like if you like vibe with that sense of humor, you know, because it's so subjective.
Right.
So it's not like you're going to her being like, you're not funny and your jokes are annoying, because like that's kind of like who she is. It's not just like this mistake that she's making sometimes.
Yeah.
Whereas when she's cutting people off and like interrupting conversations, that's a mistake that she's making. It's not like who she actually is. Well, it might be who she actually is, but like,
yeah.
So you can kind of call someone out and be like, hey, like what you're doing is rude. But if you just make a bad joke, that's not rude.
Right.
You're just not funny.
I literally know someone like this though, who like is incapable of letting someone finish a sentence. And sometimes to the point where I'm with them in kind of a group setting and I'm like, I want to be like, does anyone else notice this? Like,
yeah.
Can someone say something? Like, maybe someone has just never said anything to these people.
Maybe you're right. Okay. You know what? I think you're actually right. I think what I'm saying like doesn't actually make sense, because sometimes when people do these rude things, like I guess you're right. Like it is who they are.
Yeah. Like I think you're playing devil's advocate. Like I do get it. I just think it's like, I just know someone who's kind of like this girl, and like I just think it is who they are.
Okay.
But I don't think that's the case for everyone.
So yeah, I guess my example is more like things that they couldn't change.
Mm.
And this example is like, if you really worked on yourself, you could change.
Right.
So if you just don't like her personality because you just don't vibe like that, maybe that's when you hold your tongue and you just kind of move on. But if it's like things that she's doing wrong, which this girl is doing this thing wrong, then yeah, you say something. And I do give you props for that too, because it is hard to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'd be so scared to be like, dude, you're cutting me off every single sentence I say. Like, can you relax?
Oh, it's so hard.
My God. Now the next time that happens to me, I might just do it.
But then biting your tongue is almost harder, because this person could be in your life for a while and then you got to deal with it until you're 85.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, I guess like what I'm saying is kind of besides the point, because I was almost giving tips on like talking to someone, or like when to talk to someone versus when to not. I honestly am scared to listen back to what I just said, because I'm like, did anything you say make sense? And I don't think so. But I guess this girl, she's already done the deed. She's spoken to her about this problem. Like the girl has been doing these rude tendencies, and she's like, hey girl, here's a tip. Stop doing these rude tendencies. It's rude. She gave her a chance to stop and she didn't. So now the question is, how do we phase her out? I kind of think now's the time that you just stop asking her to hang out. And if she asks you why, and when she says, oh, is there a reason why you didn't invite me? Yeah. because you cut me off every time I talk. You talk to me when I'm trying to engage with other people. I find it rude. I tried to tell you about it. It didn't change, and therefore I don't think we are compatible as friends.
Yeah. Bam.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like we did it. Let's move on. I'm so sorry about that. Cut all of that.
We did it.